You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Happy Monday. I am Brandon Olson. You can find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. I'm also the founder of Whole9Sports.com. You can find all of my written work. Please do subscribe to Locked On Gators wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Gators YouTube. Check my pinned tweet to let everybody know why Florida fan base is the best fan base in the nation. This week's going to be a little bit different. If you're looking for the full game review, that was yesterday. That came out. We had a Sunday episode come out yesterday. So that's what that is. We're going to have a 6-episode week this week. Today, I am joined by former Florida Gator basketball player, one of my favorite Gators of all time. I was ecstatic and giddy when he said yes to do this interview with me. Patric Young, who I cannot wait. This is a fantastic interview, and I'm letting you know now. Like, this was supposed to be broken up into 3 different episodes, and we did the interview, and I was like, this dude is amazing. I need to make this its own episode. So that's why we have 6 episodes, because he killed this interview. Again, if you're looking for the full game review from the Florida versus Bama game, that came out yesterday. That was a Sunday episode, and yeah, we're going to get into it, but there's only one place to get all the info you need on the SEC 5 days a week, and that's Locked On SEC with Chris Gordy of Sports 790. Follow the Locked On SEC podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, here's Patric Young. All right, and now I am joined by former McDonald's All-American, SEC All-Freshman player, 3-time SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year, 2nd-time All-SEC, SEC All-Defensive Team, and SEC Defensive Player of the Year, Patric Young. How are you doing, Patric?
I'm doing great, and as good as those individual accolades are, I was with the team that had so many wins and SEC records, and among winning 30 games in a row, I wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't have achieved anything that I did without my teammates Donovan. So, the individual accolades are cool, but the team ones are even cooler because you share those things with guys that end up becoming your brothers for life.
Yeah, and one of the things, like, my first question is actually, like, you spent 4 years with the Gators, and they were 4 great years. Like, you were a part of some very good basketball teams there. You were always coached by Bill Donovan as a Gator. What was it like to play under such a legendary college basketball coach?
Well, it's definitely one of those things where, I was sure in the sense of just like not having exposure to that level of great coaching. I went into a really good high school my senior year, and now I experienced some coaching where my coach did scouting, and he was successful. Talking about Jim Martin down Providence School, Jacksonville, Florida. He's coached a lot of great players that don't go on to have great careers. But going into Florida, I thought I was humble, coachable. I thought I knew things, but in reality, I was getting coached by a Hall of Fame coach that knew way more than I did, and it took me a while to really understand and grasp that and just be a sponge. Looking back, I can say it was obviously some of the best coaching I ever had. Actually, once I left college after it was 4 years and went on to play ball professionally and overseas, and just seeing the disconnect was normal because Coach Donovan was so superb and exceptional day in and day out that the realities or the ways the philosophy, I should say, for other coaches were not the same. So, but it was awesome, man. I'm just so thankful for those 4 years. And I'm really proud of Coach White building the program back after following up from a legendary coach, Coach Billy Donovan. Really excited for this upcoming team. Just love the Gators, love this organization, and I wouldn't have changed a thing.
And
wow.
When you were with the Gators, we ran a lot of you guys ran a lot of a high pick and roll, and you were a pretty big focal part of that. Did you have any particular teammate during your college career that you were like, we had great chemistry running that pick and roll?
I mean, obviously it's going to be Scottie Wilbekin. He was probably the guy that passed the ball to me the best, and still, I go back and say I wish he would have passed. I went on to play overseas. I went overseas to play overseas in Greece. And Carlos Arroyo was my point guard. Or not, this is Carlos Arroyo was my point guard, and we ran a lot of high pick and roll as well. And every single time in the pick and roll, and just think like the rules in college where the big guy can stay in the paint for there's no time like in the NBA defensively you have to either somebody for that 3-second count that for the violation to restart, or you just got to get your feet out and get your feet back in. And similar to college and European basketball, you can stay and load it up. So ideally you would think that pick and roll would be harder with the big man being able to just stay right there. But let me tell you, Carlos Arroyo, if you guys ever get a chance, look at my highlights. I'm with a team called Galatasaray. And they don't have all the dunks and everything that I did, but he passed the ball to me almost every single alley-oop or every single roll. And I was like surprised because before Scottie took over the reins as, really being that guy his senior year, I had Irving Walker and I had Kenny Boyd, and those guys in the pick and roll, they shot the ball. They in Irv's 5'9". It's probably much harder for him to make those passes, but he's a score first, shoot first kind of guard. So in my tenure, I wish I wish I would have gotten a chance to play 1 year with Nick Lathis, but we know he left after his junior year, went on to the NBA. Great passer to this day out of the pick and roll. So if you ever get a chance to watch him, go look at his highlights overseas. My man can pass. He's one of the best passers seen. But just grateful for the years that I had with Coach Donovan. He really utilized me to my strength. I could have figured it out a little bit sooner, but he's all of my teammates and what we were able to accomplish.
And then, did you have a favorite, maybe individual matchup or even school that you were like every time you were playing them, you were looking forward to, like you had that circle down?
Yeah. There's a few. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, every time we played against Vanderbilt had their best team probably ever my sophomore year when they had Festus Zilli, John Jenkins, Jeffrey Taylor. I can't remember. Olborn was the 4-man. Can't remember the point guard. But every time matching up against Festus Zilli, that was great. Kentucky, those were games. Always going up against Florida State. We ended up sweeping Florida State for 4 years. Against Jarnell Stokes in Tennessee, Jarnell, if he would have stayed his senior year, he would have gone on as probably the number one rebounder in SEC, not only Tennessee history, but SEC history, because Jarnell was a beast, and he could really score the ball. Other than that, going up was always fun, especially when they had Marshall Henderson and Murphy Holloway and Reggie Buckner. That was always a matchup for us. Going Marshall Henderson, he took that game from us in 2013 in the SEC tournament. But what other teams? That's all that's kind of really, really sticking out to me right now, because we, as you know, we won the SEC regular season. My freshman year, we shared it with Kentucky, and then my junior and senior year, we won it individually. So, we kind of ran the.
College football fanatics, have you heard about Prize Picks? Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. I love this, and I know you will too. Prize Picks offers every sport you can think of. NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball, MLB, soccer, MMA, and more. Prize Picks offers more college football props than anyone in the world. It's hard to even find college football props if you don't know that. They offer the star players of the Power 5 and mid-major schools you may never have heard of, which Toledo helmet right behind me, Toledo tattoo on the arm. That's important to me. And Prize Picks, you can allow sports entries. You can take the over on LeBron steals and the under on Mahomes interceptions. You can do that. That's crazy. You don't get to do that in most places. Don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com or go to your app store and download the app today. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. And after Florida, you, of course, went undrafted in the NBA draft and spent some time with the Pelicans in 2014. But I know I cover more football in the NFL draft, but what was your NBA draft process like? Like, what was it before that draft process? What was it all like?
Well, what I can remember is you sign, first off, you don't really know what you're doing in a sense of hiring an agent because you don't know who's really accredited. I mean, not accredited, but you don't know who's like going to be top of the line and stuff that's going to be best fit for you. So at UF, a few different agencies come in and they give you their pitch for you. Jim Tanner over at Tandem Sports, he stood far above head for the type of guys that he represented, for the vision that he had for the resources of not only NBA but overseas. The agent that he worked with overseas was like number one agency in Europe as far as the quality of players that he had. So we're pretty high. Ended up going with him. Then I went down to IMG Academy during my pre-draft process. Breathed, slept basketball, getting better, weights, that whole process of just doing the best you can to prepare for the draft and the workouts that are coming. There were a lot of others drafted and going undrafted, but going to have really good careers. And then, I mean, you got your process, which is pretty wild. I think I had 13 workouts in 15 or so days, maybe less than that for the sake of it. But you do so much traveling. If you have any aches or pain, I just remember being in Phoenix, man. They do the 3-minute run where you just can go up and down the full length of the court in 3 minutes. And I think the record is like 30 or close to. I think I probably got like 21, 22, 23. New York had to do that again in New York. Scottie Wilbekin was with me in that workout, and he ended up getting broke their actual team record. He got like 34, and then he threw up after, which is pretty hilarious. But then after all the workouts were done, you get feedback. I was pretty sure. I thought I was going to get drafted by New York because an article came out that they were interested in me, and that's when Phil Jackson was still the head man there. But turns out, on draft night, a lot of promises that don't end up going through, which kind of sucks. But it worked out for me in my favor to an extent because the second round, they're all on non-guaranteed tracks, and you kind of are stuck with where you are. You're kind of. I mean, the coolest thing is, yes, you get your name called, which kind of bummer. That was something I dreamed about that I was hoping for, just have my name called. But the team not a guarantee that when you're an undrafted free agent, usually you were on the team's radar, and they would have wanted you, but maybe they just had made a last decision for the pick with New Orleans. They were deciding between me and Russ Smith, and they ended up going Smith. It's an easy choice for me to choose between a few different NBA teams, but Summer League team I wanted to play for. So go to New Orleans for Summer League, and man, I the first game came off the bench. I think I played like 20 minutes and I had 11 points and 13 rebounds because on your show that you want to prove that you belong, and ended up signing a contract after that and went on to New Orleans camp and made the cut and was with the team for a little bit. And it was just an awesome process being able to get coached by Monty Williams and be with Tyreek Evans and Eric Gordon, John Salmons, Alexis Agenda, Ryan Anderson, Jeff Wissey, so many Drew Holiday, just some of the character guys that I got to be in the locker room with. Man.
Yeah, I would have lost my mind if you would have gone to the Knicks because I'm a Knicks fan. So if you would have been, I would have actually lost my mind had that happened. But yeah, like you mentioned, where sometimes it's better to go undrafted at a certain point because then you get to pick where you're going as opposed to just being stuck somewhere. And it's like that. We talk about that with the NFL draft, where it's like if guys are available late in the 7th round, I've heard of agents being like, "Hey, don't draft them. Like we don't want to get drafted at this point. We want to pick where we can go." So it's like that unexpected benefit, I guess, that you get by going undrafted. Then after your stint with the Pelicans, you went overseas. What was that like? Because you practically upended your life to go overseas because you have obviously a life here.
Dude,
So what was it like to then go
it was
over
wild,
and
man.
play pro ball?
It was wild, man. I had really understanding or just knowledge of European basketball. So when that was on the table, a really nice offer. After let me take it back. I got cut from New Orleans. We were like 9-16 at the time. We had just lost back to back against I think maybe it was Atlanta and Washington, something like that. And on the way back from Washington, Mine Williams told me and Darius Miller that he was letting us go. And I'm gonna come back home, pack all my stuff up my Honda Accord, and drive 7 hours back from New Orleans to Jacksonville, Florida, on the phone the whole time, to figure out when I could have gone to the D League at the time. It wasn't G League yet, or I could have taken this really lucrative offer to go overseas, and then make some money. Istanbul, Turkey. I had never been to Turkey. I didn't know much about Turkey. I could take this money, get money in my pocket, get a guarantee, and that's a lot of advice I was getting. Is get the guaranteed money, and then if you want to come back and struggle, go to the G League, you can do that, because it's a struggle, grind in the G League. These guys make $20,000 at most on the year. This was 2014 before they had the new CBA, collective bargaining agreement. They didn't have two-way contract at that time. So I ended up 8 hours from getting cut on a plane to Istanbul, Turkey, man, and it was wild. It was a wild ride. I'm so grateful that I had the team had some American guys on the team, and as well as guys that played college. Martinez Poitras, that played at Duke. I was really surprised. Because I didn't. Again, I'm going over to a country I know nothing about European basketball, nothing about the rules, how many American foreign players on the team. This guy speaking perfect, fluent English to me and just welcoming me in, and I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be too bad. And I get there after traveling hours in traffic, because Istanbul, Turkey is like top 3 as far as in the world. 6 hours at the hospital, then they put me in a hotel. Didn't spoil. They put me in a game the next day. As you can imagine, no one could have played a good game after all that. And then the next game, I made a name for myself, just like 8 points, 2 rebounds, dunks, all this crazy stuff. And it was an interesting experience this year overseas. Just thankful for again my teammates, thankful for the fans over there, for just having a situation where my coach actually didn't expect too much of me. as bad as that sounds, it helped me have a good experience of love basketball again, because it was really enjoyable. I ended up making a reel for myself. I was like newcomer of the year. I was first team all Turkish, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. Similar to the college question, do you have any favorite memories or matchups from your time overseas?
Yeah, I mean, plenty of them. Great matchups. I mean, oh man. So when my first year first of all, one thing that you got to know about overseas sports is that it's extremely rare that in a derby or a rivalry, they call it derby, this rivalry team is playing against another one. There's not going to be fans. Opposing team are not there. So like in Turkey, no, there's no chance, like in all, like how we have a Florida State game, or like Florida Alabama, and there's like this little section of Alabama fans in Griffin. There's none of that, because those people are crazy. It'll kill you if you show up wearing the wrong color. So my favorite matchups had to be, man, these slides are crazy. My favorite matchups had to be when we were playing against Fenerbahce. And just those games and the atmosphere, man, were so crazy when I was in Turkey. Like, oh man, the fans are ruthless, and we played those guys. We matched them in the playoffs, and we had so many injuries. We had guys that were out. We lost to them in Game 3, but at their place, we almost beat them with playing 6 players. And this is probably illegal what I did. I know in the NBA, straight to telling myself, I drank 2 5-hour energies before the game, because the coach played me. He said, "Patrick, I'm going to play you the entire game. 40-minute games. I'm playing you the entire game. So he took out one time. I was like, Coach, I just need 2 minutes. So he took me out for 2 minutes, and I went back in the game. And we fought hard playing that game. But that was also when I was in Greece. I played with a team called Olympiacos, and we played against the team Panathinaikos, and that would be Gators' team at the time. They're green. My team, Olympiacos, is red. And this is what was so crazy. So we in the Greek league, it's usually only those two teams that make it into the playoffs, in the championship game, best of 5 series. So I was out. I had torn my ACL my second year there, my first year there, my second year as a pro. So I was out. But anyways, we're up 2 on them, and game 4 is in there. And we have this legend on our team. His name is Vasilis Vanoulis. He's one of the greatest players in European basketball. He played for the Spurs for a little bit. He played, I think he might have played with, no, he played with Houston. He was with Houston for a little bit, and then he came back overseas to Greece. But he hit this shot, went at buzzer, this other great legendary European basketball player's face. Last game, the guy played, and you lose to your rival. The last game of your career. But anyways, we won. We won game 3. We won game 3. We won the series. We go crazy. And like what I was talking about as far as earlier when Gator fans, like if we would have won the coming back and them just being around the stadium, around their stadium, because we played on the road, driving down the highway, our fans spying our bus. They're going in the middle of the highway with their scooter. It's late at night, so it's not like there's not much traffic. There's barely, I don't think there's any traffic at this point. But they stop us in the middle of the road. They're cheering. They're waving flags. There's probably like 50 cars and scooters around us. And then after probably about 30 minutes, because we're excited, we're excited. We're drinking on the bus, just like, because that's the last game of the season. We're super excited. We get our stadium, and there's 15,000 outside of our stadium, going insane. We bust through the roof on the bus, and we're all sitting on. We're like all of us get out of the bus. They're chanting, they're lighting flares, they're waving flags. They're just like going insane for us, man. And like I never experienced anything like that. That was probably my number one basketball experience. Just that kind of love and passion for the sport. Maybe it's a little, but it was something I would never forget.
Locked On Gators is now on YouTube, and you'll see that I'm a sweater, but I'm not today. Forehead's actually looking kind of sweaty, but everything else we're cool. I sweat a lot, but I've been using SweatBlock consistently because, well, I didn't use it for a bit to show you guys that I sweat a lot, but now I use it consistently because I don't want to sweat grossly. Like I sweat profusely, and it's nasty, and it's still humid out here, but it's getting better. Thankfully, fall is here. I use SweatBlock antiperspirant wipes. SweatBlock is stronger and more effective than most clinical antiperspirants. You simply apply it at bedtime, wake up, and then you shower, clean, and you're good to go. Guaranteed, baby. And I know it sounds way too good to be true to say something's guaranteed, but I only have to use it once or twice a week. Use promo code LOCKEDON to get 20% off at sweatblock.com, or get it on Amazon, where last week it was a #1 seller, or CVS. And I don't know about you guys, but football season's here, and now I'm constantly reminded of how much better physique these guys are in, and I'm constantly snacking during games. Like, that's something that I just always do while I watch the game. It's a nervous tick, but it's something I do. So in order to prevent myself from getting in worse physique, I'm committing to eating Built Bar as my snack instead of other sugar-filled snacks or other chips. Built Bar is the best protein bar on the market. If you're trying to eat clean, but you've got a sweet tooth like I most certainly do, that's no longer a problem. Built Bar is your low-calorie, low-sugar, high-protein, and high-fiber solution. You can even enjoy it if you're keto. Remember to use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off of your next order. That is LOCKED, LOCKED 15 to get 15% off of your next order at BuiltBar.com. I saw this. You're kind of doing a lot now.
I'm doing a lot.
First off, you've got your podcast, The Young and the Rowdies, and you had current Gators head coach Mike White on there the other day. What was that like?
Yeah.
Also, what was it like to have a coach that you didn't play for, the school you played for?
I mean, it's you trust the process. You trust that it was a little weird, but yet Jeremy Foley had done a fantastic job in hiring. I mean, no, not perfect because he'd be perfect, but he did over a fantastic job with the coaches he has hired, and the standard in which he holds for hiring. And you just knew Mike White was going to be. And I had a chance to be around Coach White. I don't know how many times, can't count, but every single interaction I've had with Coach White has been nothing but excellent. There's the energy, the attitude, the mindset. He's an everyday guy. I would have loved to play for him. I got to play under a Hall of Fame coach, and I believe he's gonna be an excellent coach. He's a maker of men. He is exceptional. He's a guy that not only talks to talk to people, and so that's why it's really awesome for me to have that connection with him. That I can, whenever I want to text him or something to him, encourage him. It's been that I've done that since my support, and that at the end, I just love him. I love him as a man, as a mentor, as a family, as a coach he is to these guys. And having the podcast has been a blessing, man. It's really cool to connect with. This is C2 of the podcast now. And Coach White was on last year. I had been his first episode. Mike White is the second episode, and Jeremy Foley is third episode of the first season. So pretty big time. And having Coach White on, especially first off to address just the hurdles of last year. I mean, didn't have a locker room last year. That was blown away. That things that happened with Keontae, and still praying that he's going to have opportunity to get clear and play ball again. But if not, praise God that he's being able to, still be impactful with his life. But yeah, the podcast is fun. It's a great time. I'm just had Torian Green and Chris Chioza on, and there's going to be one coming out every week. The one that was released last week to the end of the season. So it's a lot of fun for me. It does take up some time, but I got to be very intentional about I get as many episodes as I can in the beginning. So when that middle of the season lull comes where people are going to be like giving me the runaround, I'm not going to be scrambling to get an episode up. So we already got like 5 or 6 episodes in the chamber, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I can't wait to listen to all of them. You've also, last week, I believe it was, that you announced that you are with the SEC network, which I know that's something that you've at least mentioned that you've envisioned yourself doing that for a while. So what's that like to be able to now live another dream of yours?
Yeah, that's my undergrad career. My undergrad degree is in telecommunications, so I had an opportunity to do a lot with staying in front of the camera. I mean, doing interviews all the time, being in sports, you see these positions absolutely going into that field of color commentating, being an analyst after their career, et cetera. And it's something I always wanted to do. And just thankful to Denver Parlor and Alicia Longworth that she's not there. She's at Tennessee now. Creating the connections for me to get involved and connected with the SEC. And it took a year and a half for it to come to fruition because right in the middle of the height of the pandemic. So there was a lot of sports weren't going on. And I just kept praying about it. And I knew that it was something that I was made for. So that I could have a really awesome career in doing, and that I'd be living around what I've known and what I'd be comfortable. I like, for me, what you do is like what provides impact, and I believe me being able to have that voice on television can help me to practice the way I speak. I speak in a way that is loving and gracious and challenging at the same time, authentic. And I knew that when I did my audition in person, finally after I think it was 4 or 5 weeks ago, that I blew them away with my personality and with my knowledge of the game.
Yeah, all right. And then one more thing is that you are with Campus Legends now, who, of course, just partnered with the University of Florida to set up the Gators' first NFT that's dropping, I believe, in October now. What's it been like working with Campus Legends?
Man, it's something else, man. And it's when I'm from Tim Tebow's, and he's telling me about it, I was like, man, I don't know anything about this. I haven't really had that much professional experience, as far as work area. I own two escape rooms. I own an escape room in Gainesville called America's Escape Game, and I own one in Jacksonville. But that's a completely different realm. Like that's my comfort zone. So when you're telling me about NFTs and all these things, I was like, that sounds really cool, but I can fit in. And Tim partnered with this guy named Greg Hyman, who's the CEO and co-founder. My relationship with Greg has been so awesome because he just spoke so much positivity and encouragement and affirmation to me that I could do this. That yes, it's a startup. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be challenges, but he's like, I've been doing this a long time, and like I will mentor you to be at this position. And this thing that we're doing is gonna. What I love just about it is that we're mission based, striving to. We're not. It's going to happen. We're gonna get these connections with schools, and it's student athletes where we're gonna create opportunities for all student athletes. Doesn't matter what sports you play, to use your NIL, and it's just one of many opportunities. You're not limited. We're not exclusive. We're not limited to an athlete signing multiple deals. We're thinking about the 99%, the not 1% of athletes that want to get deals no matter what, doing one at higher rates. What about the volleyball players? What about the lacrosse players? And this opportunity, first off, to have something that can stay forever, having an NFT, a non-fungible token. It looks like a digital trading card, but it's not. It's just a collectible, and it's a minted, one of a kind, or whatever the scarcity is, and it is yours. You're using the same technology as Bitcoin or fill in the blank coin, cryptocurrency, and I think it's an awesome thing that we're doing in creating as much equity as we can, and using the pool of money that we're going to make, like a percentage of the pool of money that the current student athletes are going to make, and distributing that equally across every student athlete that signs up to be part of Campus Legends.
All right, yeah, that sounds incredible. Thanks for joining the show, Patrick. I'll have you on again, just because I very openly expressed that one of my favorite Gators. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the number, bro. Hit me up anytime.
That about does it for today's episode of Locked On Gators. Join me tomorrow as it's Tape Tuesday, baby. We're going to get into this Florida versus Bama game. We're going to look at the tape. We're going to break down some plays. I might make the whole episode just Tape Tuesday, because it was a stellar game. It was amazing. Once again, my name is Brandon Olson. You can find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. You can find all of my written work with Whole Nine Sports. That is WHOLENINE Sports.